Good morning. Or whatever it is, wherever you are. I did end up posting a question in the discourse about the image thing, and so far the only response was, yeah, I would appreciate somebody talking about that too. So we got these things to display. And there might yet be, so we've got it there. We've got it there. This whole, well, I've also used the placement relative to get this in place. I've been wondering if that would be a way to get this inside the checkbox. Now, if it's part of the label, it'll be part of the click for the checkbox. But I've been thinking that this might actually end up kind of being the right. If we have a display mode that is like the image is maybe a little faded, and this is on, or the image is full strength, we don't have the dot, then we can indicate which mode we're in. And we have to have a way to distinguish that. Now this search is not, well, right now we're using locked to determine this. Now, did I put that into a variable that I had set aside? Or did I just do locked? Okay, we have a model icon objects. So we should have something we can use to start playing with that. Object icon. You see, this is object icon with swatch. And this is going to need the information about how to display this. So show matching object, show locked object. Okay. Potentially we could do this anywhere it was displayed. I guess if we do like this, it might be nice to change it here, but right now this entire thing is your X button. So there might still be a place just to have both. That could be switched, but we have to pass down the information. So that's the cancel. That has the entire model available. That has the entire model available. So those are both doable. So this seems like a relatively, I mean, that is object with swatch. So really this is going to turn into kind of, well, I guess there's still that. There is a faded object with swatch, which is a pretty simple change. There is object without swatch, which I don't think I'm doing anywhere yet. So you need to have parts, first of all. Oh no, okay, we do have object icon. And we have object swatch. Now the way it's placed, so do we do this as a function with parameters, or maybe a parameter, for like kind of object icon display mode, which could just be a simple custom type? Or do we do this as three different, well, even if we have three different functions, we're going to have a thing to switch off of them depending on, well, there's going to be the basic display, and there is going to be something that does the model object icons logic. What was that name? Icon objects. And that, you see, so we could pass that list into the function, have it do the member check. I'm thinking of how we're using this, and how we're using this is we want to say, okay, we've got all the information, you figure it out. But the list with membership check only does 2 of the states of, we might want to have 3 states. Although I guess, oh, the thing about this is this always shows that right now, and either I need a smaller image because it would make this thing taller if I did the current size. I might need a smaller image if I want to display that as is. So we do a function with parameter. Or 3 different functions. I guess the parameter would only be really useful if we ended up with a function that returned the parameter as a way to call it. Now, I think that the just object icon is just object icon. So that's basically done. This would be, so that's actually going to be object icon or and since we put a wrapper element around this, I might, well, now you see if I fade this, I don't know if it's going to affect the in front of element because it's kind of a child. Still take up space. Interesting. Interesting place to put that. Because it was just a better place to put it. Okay, is that syntactically correct? It is not. Yep. Probably me. All right, and to check rendering, we go to one of these places. Let's see, this is browse objects header. Ah, that's the cancel circle. Show matching objects, I think is what we're default looking at. Yes, it is also fading the dot. So it is not going to be that simple of a rendering, in fact. In fact, it's going to make it kind of a pain in the butt. So I need to wrap U in an L to apply the alpha, and then wrap that in an L to apply the in front. Admittedly, these are being drawn alpha, so this ends up being a little bit more intense than the base version anyway. Although I have to see what the alpha value I used for this was to make it accurate. So we have the means to draw both. I feel like I want to adjust some spacing here too. And this was probably a set of object ID. With these things later, it'd be easier to do in a list, although those are kind of a pair almost. And in fact, I might be getting those from a thing that's a pair. No, because I'm doing this by IDs. All right, you know what? Actually, are these ints or are these object IDs? Well, we start with this and see if it ends up type checking, I guess. Icon objects. Object ID title. So, this is just a simple if. Is it set.member? If it is a icon object, then we just do object icon ID title. This could actually return a function. And it would be a function of two arguments, one of which is needed by this function, so that would make a little bit of an awkward call. I guess I could not necessarily pass the title to you. Now, that type signature should be fine. Oh. Oh, and this doesn't return a value. Now, this doesn't necessarily return any messages at this point, but if we turn this into a button, it will. And just to start checking this, because these are things we actually do call. Because that was just type alias for int. So yeah, all of these things should probably technically be taking object IDs. All right, object icon, all the variants thereof. Object icon with swatch. This is the cancel, so it's going to be just that. Object control, and then you need model dot icon objects. Oop. Show locked object. Okay, all of you are in dot mode. All of you are in icon mode because that's how we're doing it right now. And this stuff is still doing both. All right, and then let's see. Show matching objects. objects. You have no spacing, you have no padding, so it's probably matching object. You have a padding, you have a checkbox with spacing. Font.size, spacing for input checkbox. So are you what's doing this? Kinda, yes. Now that's padding, so that was affecting all of the sides of this thing. Yeah. I kinda just want to move the icon over. And then that is that. Okay, I guess we didn't have the same amount of padding around here. This feels like there's some additional padding on this side, maybe. Oh, row padding. Yeah, row padding 6, and then show matching object. Show matching objects. Show object result. Not particularly. No. Yeah, well, it's a little bit better. So the control, I guess the only thing about this is, oh, you know what? Well, I could actually make this into a custom checkbox with those two different things as display modes. Although it would want to have a label. But that's what we did with the lock icon. That's locked. Icon lock, unlock, input checkbox. Yeah, label hidden. Why were you a row? Oh, because you were doing all of this stuff, and then I moved this thing out. You did set font size, but that could be set here. Although you were a width fill and you were width. Does that even matter? Well, I've got to do this now. Oh no, that had to become a comma. Okay, that seems to be fine. Icon control. So that's the status of the checkbox, which is checked. I don't know if your internal spacing, but I actually don't have a label. Shrink doesn't matter because we're not doing a multi-line thing. Which actually doesn't matter for that one either. This is not a maybe. It has to have a message. And hey, look. Well, this is a past thing, not a... hidden label. Oh, and this is a function of checked. So we're a little bit back to the if then. It's just inside there. And font size probably doesn't actually matter. It's not text-based like the little icon was. Yep, yes, it's doing lock. Oh, but it's not. Oh, but then this is still in the state based on this, which is setting that message. Okay. So we then need to. We have to do that. We have to do the default state. We have to define a message. Which now the main program, it has to handle that. Set.insert or set.delete. So this is, okay, so we're taking this and I guess we were using it twice here. Maybe an earlier version? Maybe I ended up extracting this stuff. And now I think this highlight objects will cause the leaflet. And I was going to reprocess that. Then the highlight objects command is really what we need from here. Oh no, we need to say highlight objects command based on this stuff changing. Oh, yeah, and maybe before I abstracted this, then that was in there. Oh, do you get the model? Yeah, okay. I have a thing for this, don't I? This is, let's see, so you just do that. That is the model that already had that thing applied, which I guess changing this isn't that big of a deal. All right, I haven't changed you yet. Right, did you appear in two places? Oh, yeah, because it can be that, or it can be the check-in there. Yup. Well, that's hot oven oven, which would be a common last state for something. Now, kilns have a lot of different states, so it can be hard to find those. All the charcoal making, I guess. Maybe it's not Adobe Forge. Maybe just firing Forge. And I did not... Okay, I did tweak you. And this was just... I think there was one in my original test set. Okay, so that's switchable. Only problem is it's not obvious that it's switchable. Now, we're going to initially set this based on the number of items, which might give you some indication. So we've got label hidden. It's an HTML attribute. Oh, yeah, actually, HTML attributes.title. From int plus title. That could be put together, but it's not that much. No, actually, we're kind of right down here. Control, and you currently have no properties. You still have to kind of find to hover over it. I've got some header space here. That might be a good place for it. Not very much header space. Life detail header, 2-part message, tab header, object list header. So we had just put a spacer in here. Oh, width pix 30. So where's... Okay, so you have a space... You probably don't need that spacing offset anymore. You need an element for the underline. Oh, we need an L here. Whoop. Okay, and we've got a little spacer here. So we would probably want to say, actually something very much like this. Actually, is this entire, where is this? This entire row underlinable? It is kind of the entire header. Or would that cause weird things? Nope, nothing so far. Now we do have to have fairly exact spacing here. But I could just set the width of whatever this is. Actually, you need to be this way for doing it that. Okay, that actually fit pretty well. It doesn't indicate you can click to change it. And then, give me the other pix 30, locked object list header. All right, so that's switchable. We need to set up the defaults for that. Oop, where are you? No, 0.5. Toggle icon display mode. If we turn that on, not too big a deal there. All right. So right now, so whenever we this is global, it doesn't mean if it's locked or not. Locked may be a stronger indication that we would want to icon it. Whenever we do a search, we're going to default that. I might need to keep 2 of these. One for things the user has manually indicated, and one for how we're currently displaying other items. And now I'm wondering if all of the sort of state management of that is worth like a little custom thing. Because we're going to have the thing that we're essentially going to have 3 values in the model. We're going to have, assuming we don't want to be constantly redetermining which ones to display, which we could, We may in fact have a count. Well, every time we go through here, we'll have the count handy. Over here, we won't have the count handy. We're just giving it a list. But the main times we send that list are when we're updating this. So maybe we could live determine the automated part of it. So then the effective icon objects would be the manual ones. Now, we actually, if we're doing a set, we would actually need like 2 sets. One for like manual dot mode and one for manual image mode. And I guess icon is maybe the wrong word for this, because they could both kind of classify as icons. So I guess we can call object icon as like whatever we're displaying it as. So your icon, okay, so this is object icon image. Or just object image within the context of the view. Object icon is probably still fine for that little shenanigan. Oop, change to W. But then you don't have a W. Change to W. Okay, and object icon control, that's fine. Toggle icon display, because we're calling the entire thing an icon. Then this is an image, and this is an image with a... Okay, so I guess swatch kind of has a name. So server icon, object icon. Object icon with swatch, change to W. We're leaving icon control. So that's all internal names within the view. Should be fine, but we kind of want to change our model. Icon objects. So a singular list worked before. Well, first we're trying to get a rename going. And we're currently using this as things we want to display as images. And I think we also touched this in our main file. Oop. Okay, so that clears up that ambiguity. Model-wise, we want to default this based on size. What I'm concerned about is if we're doing new searches, we're going to kind of erase everything the user selected. Now, we already do that with the checkbox selections a little bit. But I guess the implication there is if you're doing a new search, what you want to see is changing. And if you're doing a related search, the icon mode you want might be for the same item might be the same. So we have image objects. That would be like swatch objects. We're doing manual indication. And though, the implication here is that these two sets are mutually exclusive. But might be a subset of all the things we're dealing with. All right, so you get used. So we take all the objects that we're going to mark, and then we take the two different sets based on that. So if we had two manual lists, we have those manual lists definitely in there. And I get, so for these methods, it would be convenient to have the sort of final result pre-computed. And I guess you could do a very similar thing. We reduce it down just to the set of things that are in one of the modes, and you can do this diff intersect with it. And we'd only need to update those sets, well, when the user does something or every time we update the, or something like we do a search or something. I see. We've had this as like, selected matching objects gets reset on search. Locked objects is a user, pretty much a pure user thing. I wonder if I should maybe start doing this just directly in the model and then see how awkward it feels. So if that's manual indication, we still need something to remember what we're currently displaying as. Because we're going to want to determine that sometime when we're like actually going through lists of new data and stuff and have the counts handy. Or maybe we have just a list that is, which things would be there sort of by default. And then we can do set operations with the manual user indications. So default, well, the default would be kind of derived from this stuff. So probably it actually is going to be, because that's the value going into there. Well, no, we're currently doing a default search. Actually, so we expect that to get overwritten, so to speak. So to determine the effective image objects, this is a set dot union of model dot default image objects. And I'm going to count on our model maintaining a mutual exclusion of image and swatch. And maybe we want to wrap something around that later. So what are you? Oh, I was calling these points and icons before. So these still need some renaming. Well, this is doing an intersect of, I guess it's basically that. Default image up. No, it doesn't consider the manual swatch setting. This doesn't take into account what the user has manually said should be a swatch. Because that is just defaults plus their manuals. It doesn't remove anything from the default set. And I guess that's a set dot. Well, this is a diff. What's is that another set dot diff? Unfortunately, the set operations are not laid out nicely for pipelining. They're laid out nicely for the individual calls. Union is fine because is commutative the right word? Actually, union is commutative. intersect is commutative. Diff is not commutative is the issue. Get the difference between the first and second set. Keep values that do not appear in the second. So if you were pipelining that, you would be preparing the list of things to remove from the final entry. So we have the default image objects. I guess if this is points, would we just do a final union with Oh, but I'm not necessarily going to highlight those, even if they're in that selection set. So then set union, because there's things we're going to remove from the set of things to display as swatch points. And then what we want to do is the default image objects needs to not have, do not appear in the second set. So I think could we consider this as a remove? We're expecting these to be mutually exclusive, but maybe we want to do it in that order. All right, then we're starting off as a intersect. So this was the image set. Well, actually, the intersect versus diff means this might actually use swatch objects because we have to adjust the defaults, which we're just going to rewrite every time we do something. And then these are manual user stuff. So we have to both potentially remove and add to that set. So we could probably even get this back to a single thing if we did like effective image objects. Now, do we still want to use pipeline form? Oop. This set without those, this set with only those. Okay, what did we mess up here? And this is a model type, not an anything. Set.intersect. You take a model. Now, we don't have anything in that default set right now, so other than, we used to have some of those show up. Yeah, actually, yeah, it's totally broken. So what are we doing here? Okay, effective image objects is nothing. So maybe I've got my diff wrong. Oh, yeah, and then remove the stuff that was up here. So that doesn't flow nicely with this. I need to take the first argument and kind of apply that through. Actually, from before, we actually do know that this one's correct, because here's our big set, and we want to remove that stuff. I almost might do a new set function. Okay, so now we got our trucks. We can get our walls or whatever else. And we had naming. Now, I've got a little bit of another naming problem here, and I've been calling this a point in the JavaScript. And calling it a swatch in the front end. Well, I guess point is also like our life points, so maybe swatch is the thing to carry through. And highlight object images. The map UI is going to be all upset about those. That might be the only reference to it. Oh, exposed list. All right, but that language also appears in Leaflet. But maybe only in the arguments. But it actually appears in this stuff too. So that's actually going to break the protocol. Just we can't tell from there. Highlight objects. Okay, so that's different. Let's get the command out of the way first. Message.points. And see, this is highlight object points, highlight object icons again. This is going to be where it's going to get a little bit more painful. Highlight object points. Let's just highlight objects. Oop. Highlight objects, highlight objects. Okay, that's one. Highlight objects. Okay. Now I might have some more of that language. Oh, I was calling it icon because it was marker icons. And like, yeah, there's those icons. Object icon layer. Yep. And this is only going to be images. Does that mean we have an object point layer? We have an object point overlay. This is not a great object index overlay. And I'll get no type checking on this. Yep, you see, everything's broken. Message.points. Ah, we were checking for the length here to see if we need to do anything. Okay, and now all that stuff works. Okay, so we have a little bit of consistent language. It's lacking throughout the app in general. And we want to set that default stuff based on search results, I guess. So for the locked object set, that's not going to be in the search set. So maybe that's a thing that we update, we only add to that. Of course, that's going to change from span to span too. Okay, that does a update object search. Okay, that gives us an initial selection list. Selected matching objects, total matching objects, IDs. Do we yet have? Oh yeah, we're doing name checks if indeed we have data. Now, what? I didn't do title types for these. IDs is yeah. So like this is just IDs. So we have to do the thing. Model.servers object index. Let's .folder test. So I might have to do some of this junk again. See, object index. Oh, yeah, because this is theoretically doable on the object index, not on the current search results. So in theory, we can set the defaults for everything when we update The current span. Well, that's kind of that selected server. The object index. Now this doesn't have the count. This just has the names. That's master data. This does not yet involve any of the counts of these things. Now, does this involve the sort? Now, the sort happens in the view, doesn't it? Does this ever depend on that stuff? Object finder. Show matching objects. List.map. So that implies it's already sorted. Model.matching objects. Maximum matching. Yeah, this is IDs. So, okay, there's, okay, yeah, go into span data, get the log object, search index. You do all of that, and then only return the actual list. So that's the total. So I guess this is actually a different thing. This is a derived thing. So this is like, what is it? Default image objects is that's the maximum. I guess it only matters for things we're displaying, and if we do all, we're gonna come back through here. Okay, so that's the same. The counts we need. We do not. We might need a function that determines this, because I think, well, this is a kind of the comparison is kind of a complicated beast. Descending count AB. Yeah, actually we have to do this stuff. This is going to be more of a filter, and it's not going to be an AB. Oh, and you were a list. This took... Oh, that was a list. So I guess this is ordered. Now you see, we already turned that into a list. Actually, initial selected work in this case. And that's doing the conversion. Do we have a set filter, though? Transform, yes, we do. We could do this as a partition, just to have those two sets handy. I don't know if I want to keep them around, though. Set.filter. Oh, it's not a list anymore. It's a set. We have one of these. So dict.get, maybe that with defaults. This might just be a single pipeline. Ah, right. It's going to be a pair, though. So we default it out, and then we are saying we have to do this. And we want it to be an image. If it's not indexed, it doesn't even really matter. And if we get a lot of hundreds, it'd be pretty bad. Let's see the surprising number of hot Adobe ovens. I don't know if 50 is the right number. Are you just space? Number that expects a number. Oh, right. It was a comma there because this actually is a tuple. Okay, so that got... yeah, that's a little bit busy by default. Also, this is not displaying properly. Oh, my view is probably using the manual just image objects. Yeah, I need to use the model method to get the derived version of that. Wait. Yes, and then I have to actually have methods that do change the right things in the control. But even then, 100 seems busy. Is this map UI? And I'm wondering if this kind of method should maybe move back to model. Because this is straight up model list. Okay, so that still gets us hot Adobe ovens, 47. What's our count on like iron mines? So that cuts out the iron pile, ore pile, collapsed iron mines. There's a lot of those. Those that might be less interesting. Stack of wrought iron, stripped iron vein. Yeah, so somewhere between 25 and 50 is probably about right. I could see that getting a little bit higher depending on how busy things are. Okay, cut out those hot ovens. Right, I've not compiled yet apparently. Or did I not save? Right, because we're not using this. We're not using this for the No, we should be using this for the stuff we send to the map, though. Well, that did something. Oh, it's probably a different kind of Adobe oven. It's not actually the hot Adobe oven. That's just the Adobe oven. Oop, not recompiled. All right, so that all gets saved in the model. So the model has methods. And where we were just saying is member of sets. The is member of set here is going to be highlight object images, basically. Because I'm not saving the computed result here. And that's being passed. Okay, so yeah, this is actually showing where the cutoff is. It took a little bit to compute. All right, because we're not changing the right value. Toggle object icon display. So if checked, yeah, this is going to be a little bit more complicated. Yeah, this gets into the mutual exclusion set thing. I actually have to modify two values here. There's image objects, and there is swatch objects. So image objects, swatch objects. Now, maybe the better way to do here is to say we insert or remove from one of them, which is what we're doing. And then we do swatch objects equals set dot diff. We take swatch objects and make sure that image objects never appears in it. That won't add it to swatch objects, though. Okay, so that works. For all the, okay, they're just small. Some of the smaller objects might also work better as icon things. Yeah, even with that as the limit, it's already taking a long time to rebuild those sets. Because we're adding some of the larger objects here. We just default everything to off. It's a little bit better, but it's not If we do... All right, so Adobe was specifically for the image things. Adobe, a more common search term. And maybe this is just going to be less numerous overall. And this also has this limit, which we're only going to show these things. So there's that factor. Actually, do we even get to the end of the actually on map list? No, we don't, so that's fine. So we get a deep iron pit, and that's it. Now, what does this look like? I need to pick this based on the total number of objects. Oop, hadn't recompiled yet, or had we? And they're just very dark. So that gets up to stripped iron vein, which is what we would want. And I guess it's just if you have more new. Do we have to try and do like the subtotal of our long tail here until we hit a certain number of total markers? That's going to make what we put into that set a lot more dynamic. Also, did I still have something in here that defaulted this based on our locked object set? Image objects, initial object search. Well, these are all supposed to be manual. Ah, the locked objects are not part of this, though. So when we lock something, should we give it a little bit more headroom? But we have to manage this whole mutual exclusion thing, which means we probably do want an operation for that. So this is user has indicated in this mutual, this is like, well, there's only one status for everything in there. But whether it has been indicated positive or negative matters. It's almost a maybe. The things you could answer from a query on that. Well, I guess you could say, give me the positive set, give me the negative set, and then just the ways we change it would be controlled. And then it would kind of work about the same. And maybe I could have a thing that does all of the set operations on some other set based on those inclusions and exclusions. Kind of move that down. Well, I don't need two versions of this. I just need this. So probably I just want model operations that do this, and you see, even if you locked iron ore, I'm not sure I would want to put that in the icon set by default. But it's going to be kind of a pain to get down to that number. Well, it was just models and IDs, right? I just have to do all of that again. And what does the operation on that look like? Well, it's either a definitely in or it's either a definitely true or definitely image or definitely swatch, I guess. And then you can have that do the set operations. This is going to be kind of the internals of it. Model. So we've got things that deal with this. So you're sort of like taking over the toggle, except that we might want to call this from someplace else. Oh, no, usually when we do this, it is model there, so we can just kind of pipe the model through. I don't know if checked is quite the right word anymore. So now we could call that from someplace else. We have to expose this. Highlight, highlight, highlight. Oh, you need an ID. ID checked, and a model, which takes over all of this. Now, this is saying we know what state we want it to put in. We could do that for locked items, although I'm a little bit afraid of those very large counts. No, actually, I do want map UI because you have the pick default, which we have to go through. We have to get all the counts. Yeah. I never remember removing this code. So this would be I guess things get locked one at a time. That could be a singular test. Okay, you get you're gonna interesting that this reverses, But in one case, it's like we're processing the set of stuff. In the update case, we're going through steps on the model. Which is why this is going to change. No, this is going to be a parameter to that function. That would make it a manual selection, even if it came out negative. Hmm. Need our accounts. We pretty much just do the logic. Which actually means we can just kind of do this. And if it's an object of interest, it's going to be a little bit more generous. Up around 100 still gets scary. And we have an actual syntax or type error here. Oh, right. We don't assign this to anything. All right. Toggle lock. We've got this thing, which takes our adjusted model, and itself works on a model. Yeah. And image when locked, which itself takes, I guess this isn't really flowing through the model either, because we have to throw it into there. So if I lock you, it's still pretty expensive, but we can see those showing up. And if we lock you, right, yeah, because there's a lot of them in the tutorial. They're not a lot here. And if we really want to go crazy, we can still do that, which actually it's doing fairly good at filtering out the stuff that's not visible right now. And we can still override all of this stuff. So that behavior might be a little bit weird, but most things you'd be searching for, I think that's what you'd want. Oh, wait, these, interesting, because that's only, I'm using the selection set. Well, that's kind of not great. Initial selected. Oh, that's the cutoff doing way too much stuff. This is really just IDs. We have to do the set from list then. Oh. Did not compile? No. We're still getting impact from that. IDs. That's either take in or it should be total. Am I doing some pre-check for nothing selected? It's the initial selected. Oh, this is the object update object search. This must be something else. Right, because I'm basing this on highlight objects. When I'm sending stuff to the map, and I'm using the same set of things that we send to the map to display. Yeah, so we're doing this and we're doing this. It's really this that I want, I think. Highlight object images. All right, and that's not affected by there. It's the reflex choices we make here. That would naturally do it. Okay, yep. And then put that in that got set as an object of interest. Okay. That might be good. Thank you. How you doing, Ruby? A whole bunch of language changes. That's cute. I hope that means you're doing well. I think I already did toggling. This was setting up defaults. Then we want to look at undoing all our stuff. Yeah, it's making me think a lot. All right, so initial object search will take care of a lot of it. Let's go ahead and look at that. Oop. Ah, yes, we actually have to put a value in here. Okay, so we've got a default search term. And then we've got, let's see, so this is sidebar open, closed sidebar. We've got sidebar mode. Is that some sort of, is it data filter? Yeah, search data filter cosmetics. Search mode is this search lives. And I think that's all the stuff I did for development. And then I guess I should try this. Delivery, okay, starts out icon mode. Oh, actually, Since, yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter what those are. Okay, so I see people do that every once in a while. What value does that add to you? Because I've never completely understood it myself. And you were looking at this one earlier. Yeah, so these kind of turn off because they're just not visible. Now, does all of this work? Yeah, that kind of works. We get the full list here. Oh. You can do iron filing models. Oh, we kept, we reordered when we did this. But we didn't reorder when we did that. Well, there's a minor bug. All right, so we put all this stuff back because that's exactly what we need to test this. Oh, I did not get, no, there's open sidebar, which I haven't compiled yet. Oh, but I need initial objects to actually kind of trigger it off. Or make it do something. So we do that. That reordered properly. I guess because we didn't fetch more data, it didn't resort. So that is some sort of animate toggle. Toggle animated. So yeah, we require the searches, but if that didn't do anything, and can we tell that? Okay, if data animated, and I do have to do this for both cases. Fetch object search, else, just data, data placements. This is span data browse placements, then data browse locations. So this is indeed, oh, this is for a focus mode thing. Yeah, focus object. So I kind of just don't want to mess with all of this. What is this? Is this update object search? And then the question is, what are you expecting? You're expecting only a model. This is a model update, and we've got what messages do you send? Wait, you're model only. So we were always putting this into something else. So you go here. So resort does not resort. Okay. So this must not be directly triggering the sorting operation. Okay, so that's an else A in that loop. Why do you not update? Do we have some kind of doesn't need to update check? Are we using stale? Oh, maybe? What are you searching? Object search, model not selected server. This is just model, so it has to be going through some list. Object index. Oh, start descending. What are you using? If model.data animated, this should be using the changed model. Because we're saying data animated equals data animated, and then do this. So if we're going false, that should come through as false. Okay, animated false. Animated true, only once. Okay, we are short-circuiting this somewhere. Maybe this is a different toggle animated. That is a different toggle. This is for you. Now, this will re-render. It still might not process. We might still need this. This would be a leaflet event of some sort. Not a UI thing, event. Anim toggle. So there's our model, there's our message. There's kind of those same things. So this is a place where this might be a little bit different. But I might want like a method for this function. Methods or objects. Okay, that fixes that. Let's compare. I learned some keys for this, and then I didn't use them for a while. Yeah, that's scroll. Just viewport? No. This is like move to, let's say top. It's only one of the, no, only one of the commands. The end of the file, but no, that's top of the file. Top or bottom of the screen. Oh, no, that's shift. H and, okay, so H and L. There's 1, 4, and then H, L, and middle. That just moves the cursor. I want to adjust the view. Move screen without moving the cursor. Control E. Okay, so this is small adjustments. I think that there are some things that do other jumps. Move the current line to the middle of the screen. Okay, so then Z top, Z bottom. So if we do like ZT and toggle animated, ZT. The model animated. Okay, so this is valueless. We could perhaps provide a value. If we have a function, we can provide this. And then this is going to be that value. Then stopped, else model.player, update object search. This is a little bit different. It's the anim overlay. This might actually be kind of equivalent to this. And then require object search. Yeah, we should be able to function this. This does send messages, so I don't really think it would be a plain old model function. Where would you go? And we had a bunch of things that did some stuff. It's still messages. This is our network returns. Save state, resolve loaded, sidebar command. Yeah, this is kind of update stuff. So rebuild worlds, update monuments, check default center, update notable point, notable location, recent monument location. The arc rebuilds require. It's kind of in the same place as this. Require selected lives. Is this just toggle animated? And we need our current model. This is going to return a model command because it sends commands itself. And then we should be able to stick toggle animated, not model.animated. And toggle animated. Toggle animated, animated. Oh, right. You need the model. Actually, I guess we're kind of done with the big view here. Need to be able to see other stuff. Data animated. Okay, so that works. So that replaces that stuff. The other animated would be, okay, so that's still popping up that. We're seeing things change in response, so it's actually in that mode. That's back to static. Now, what happened to you? Where did I put that debug log? That was where we were doing sort descending. And we hit one. Okay, yeah, that's that. So what the heck happened to our search? Seems like the whole image thing completely broke down. Did we like added and removed too many things? Okay, yeah, these. Oh, that's I wanted to put a background in here too. So actually, the Adobe stuff is brighter, so it's easier to see. So that all works fine. Oh, did I move into a time where we didn't have data? Okay, so once we do a time scrub, something breaks. Is it possible this is related to the animation change? Now, you were not updating the list before. Well, okay, so going this way does. Oh yeah, and at that position, reloading at that position, it was fine. But yeah, our locked objects are messed up. And okay, we get that. So this is something with oh. I wonder if I remove that layer because I marked it as not animated and then didn't put it back. That's not directly related to the animation changes. So I think this is a completely separate issue. We don't have any console messages right now. Good. This is probably in JavaScript land. Okay, object search. Yeah, so this is all object search. I mean, that's there. Oh, yeah, so that layer is there. But that's like a big parent layer. What is object image layer? Pane overlay pane. You're not explicitly called out as static. Okay, so there's actually is still a icon here. Ah. Okay, so you should exist. And there's a key search icon. And maybe the point should be swatches. So that should cause a reevaluation of... Yes, there's the points, there's the images. How do I test if you're even on? Well, you have a name. I think that's more for JavaScript debugging stuff. Okay, leaflet marker icon. No, oh yeah, because that's the layer. The pane is the Z index stuff. Okay, so these are overlay. It doesn't necessarily have the class for the layer, because the layer actually might be in there somewhere. Good point. I could use to refill my water. See you in a little bit.
bogus knockback. What does that mean?
This man takes less knockback than I do.
I don't know what that means, Dale.
Okay, if you don't know what that means, then you're just dumb. It's simple. Like, it's not... Oh, wait a minute, he's not on my team.
Okay, hold on. I need to take a minute to recover from that one.
I need to clip that.
That was really bad. That was also really bad. Oh, sir. Oh, no, I wasted my life on this. But there I.
Oh, no. Oh, shit, I think I dropped something. Oh my god, I think I just told Tana to stop. I think she... Oh my god, I told her to stab me. Tana, laugh. Oh my god. Oh my god.
To say like one shot.
Oh, I see.
Like,
Welcome back. Yeah. The scanning thing was kind of part of the 1.0 release. Just go out and we're kind of done. Let's go out and scan all the things. So we know that those get removed. I guess I'm wondering why. Oh, actually, you didn't get removed. It's only when we change time. Now, I don't think... Oh, because that's okay, in time, that's a different display method. Let's turn you off. Put you back on icon so I can see you. Oh. Okay, so that's a factor maybe. But yeah, it's completely busto. Okay, so that goes back. Yeah, it's busto in both modes now. That probably means that layer got turned off. Yeah, maybe you need a redraw. Maybe it removes all the markers when it gets turned off. How do I know if you're... Well, I can see what we're adding or removing. Okay, add object search image. That did not remove it. Okay, changing time did remove it. And we never put it back. Now, maybe, what are my conditions? Not layer.getIcon? Why did I put that on there? Maybe that's a leaflet thing? Okay, that's Let's look at the source. Get icon URL. Get icon. Returns the current icon used by the marker. So that would be if it's an individual marker, which I don't think that processes individual markers. That's only an ad, so that shouldn't be an issue. So add. Oh. No, okay, that was just a flash. Okay, so yeah, not data animated, I get. But now we're not data animated. I guess are we not calling this? Because we should be redoing... We should be redoing this when we change modes. Okay, that's not doing base layer by time. This is doing base layer by time. Okay, so when we change animation modes, we have to rerun this. Base layer by time. Set map update time. So that's a world list, map time. Toggle animated, anim overlay. I wonder if the individual... Oh, this is for the alternate things though. So that's not really going to apply here. This is probably going to kind of just do this in a less optimized way. Okay, so yeah, that removes, that adds, kind of does the same thing. I don't think I... Okay, so we've got locked. Is this... Okay, we know that there's some stuff. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of a conflict here. We don't have image mode for animated. It's given that things could be happening a lot more, might make sense. We just have to make sure it displays something. So we just not use this function anymore? Yeah, kinda. So... no. The object search image? Almost. Image. So this is setting all the things up. key search point, maplog search point. You're getting a bunch of stuff. You're getting a bunch of stuff. Set highlight. Set object highlight options. Key placement point, key search image. Oh, I think sometimes I want to redo how these layers work. Key placement point, key search point. Key search, okay, so each point, key search image works similar. Oh no, key search. Oh, so we have the static image. What's the difference between placement and search? Because we've got key and we've got maplog, and I think of those as span maplog point and maplog search point. Object point overlay anim. Yeah, so you've got this set of things again. I get time mode and static. Why did I have two of these things? Object search anim. Object search static. Object search image. Object point static. Object point anim. Key placement point. Oh, is this for... Oh, that's character. For this. Although, does this need a different display layer? We've got the marker. Key placement point. Object point overlay static. So you create a tile. Oh, right. This was the two generations of this. One is, when we get to the point where we can render objects, we can use this, and that works even for the objects that are too numerous to index. The other is the indexed stuff. All right, and then, so, key image, key object image, set object, highlight options, key search image. Like this is using the search indexing. It would be an alternate to this, which would be the alternate to maplog search point. So when we set up maplog search point, and actually that this might be kind of annoying. I might be pulling this out at the layer level in terms of what we use, data-wise, because this is just set the options. Maplog search. So are you picking stuff out? Highlight object swatches. This is a key search point. This would be a maplog search point, which is still a key search point. It just uses a different data source. But the layer is defining that it specifically uses swatches. So do I send all items as swatch in animation mode? The layers don't really support it. And it's just that one little option. Maybe I could give this thing a simple option that just like also show images. And your title is a little bit long because you didn't ended up being static. If options. So that's actually the else case. And do we have a JavaScript array option that does union? See, do I get a sidebar if I open this up? Unshift values, splice sort. See, I almost want to turn that into a dash and then back. We can do includes on a point-by-point basis. Sort and remove duplicates. I guess what we end up doing is just member, and if it's a member twice. No. This is the also do. And then when we set up the maplog version of this, create search key point, create arc maplog search point. Oh, you've already got an animate flag. I might want to be a little explicit about that. Okay, we had zoomed in. And we were concerned about 4 instance trucks. Okay, so we keep the same number of dots. Now, I guess my UI isn't reflecting that fact since if I do it down here. Now, the UI is going off of effective, so effective would have to include the model and what it's doing for that. And we'd have no way to indicate what you wanted when we were able to display them. So we probably could make that work in animation mode, but I just don't want to do it right now. All right, so we've got we get a little bit of renaming. We removed something that we kind of had in there for future use. Okay, we left a console log there. Oh yeah, and this, yeah, this is not a thing that toggles back and forth. So I could do something that's like just a static check to add or remove it. But alternate anim, alternate static. So it only does anything if we have those things, which this one doesn't have an alternate. Actually, do I use these anywhere now? Not directly, but we are using it to see if we have a useful animation controls to show. For the object image layer, which has no alternate to toggle. So this is just a thing to think about in the future. If we can get that optimized switch while also dealing with that sort of one-off layer. All right. So what we had done was, I guess I didn't go back and double test this. We had changed time and we'd gone back. Okay, and it's got to refresh everything, but it gets there. And we had a search in there, and we had a closed sidebar, and a data filter, and a search lives. Got data filter, objects, nothing locked. And that's probably a neat unit of work. I should probably do this too. So that's something I can display later, and then I guess next week we start working on one of the things I always wanted to do is actually get us a decent time window or time selection graph. This thing has always been stopgap, and I kind of had to put in a stopgap when the little leaflet control I found was kind of causing message update loopbacks between that and Elm. So we've already done the work to get that displayed by Elm. Now we want to make it a little bit more data rich, and that might involve some loopbacks to data preparation to make something really nice. And it might be nice to have I don't know, population graph or something on there, but that will require some data preparation. And hopefully replace this mess. At which point this panel won't have a whole heck of a lot in it. Maybe I could do a thing like this for server. Of course, then you've got Eve only and need a place for presets, but I was wondering if I should have a setting for the default image size. I guess I kind of shouldn't have settings, but that is kind of an arbitrary value. I'm gonna have to wait and see on that one. Oh, backgrounds. Which now I need all my settings back. Basically. How do we roll back one commit? And rollback is a command that like applies an inverse. I just want to. The unpublished commits, reset hard. Amend changes it. I basically turned off all my dev defaults, and I'm like, oh, I want to do one more thing, so there's almost no reason in doing any of that. So I think that's one up from head. Oh. Oh, is it head back? Yeah. So now we come up with some default stuff to display here. We'll need to turn this off again. And just to review, because this is actually done pretty well here. Oh, actually, it doesn't. It doesn't in this list. Yeah. I probably should have saved a point on that branch. It's in this thing that it's showing the blocks for crafting. But I don't like how a lot of like, some of these actually show up better. I guess it's all the iron stuff that like tends to show up badly on the dark background. And I just kind of picked that as my sample, but with the black lines, everything has a little bit of a dark cast to it that unfortunately makes it rough on the dark background. He doesn't actually have it in here, which is a little bit similar to what I'm doing, but I feel like I would like it better with some sort of backdrop. And iron is a little dark, but... this is going to be a pure view thing. We have some sort of object image thing that I think pretty much everything is going to be using. And we are wrapping it in an element already. Background got color. Oh, this isn't necessarily just going to be palette. Background.color needs a color. In our palettes, we were doing RGB. What was the units? Oh, right, because these are... Because those are alphaed out, and they're alphaed out around that. I guess that sort of works. I could almost do this entire column. But I guess having a little frame for the object isn't bad. Now is this a... Yeah, this would be a border thing. So I don't know if, as I don't need to be an exact parallel of this. It was just a decent inspiration. I think that this actually is a little bit of a lighter gray, but I was doing 50% specifically to make it kind of equivalent for both of these. And of course now this feels all dark. But this is significantly better contrast for like some of the iron veins and things. And the faded ones still end up dark, but they're faded, so I think that was why this was showing up so badly before, because it was actually alphaed out. I don't know what the brightness of the in-game stuff is, but that should be a little bit better. Object, image, contrast. All right, now. And maybe I could have like saved this and like rebased it back on or something to keep stuff. It's a pretty small amount of stuff. I just didn't want to have to, I just didn't want to commit doing it and then undoing it. Closed. Search. Data filter. Search lives. Lives. No search term. All right, data filter, search lives. Looks good. All right, now that will hopefully be something shippable. So I just need to go do a bunch of boring deployment stuff, and then this might be worth a little note, particularly since I don't have a good way to make this toggle behavior clear. I keep finding new things. That might just need to be a note. Cable caught. Well, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support from all the subscribers and everybody who hosted me. What do we got going on? That's what I'm usually on. So I often get caught up in something go longer here, but it kind of depends on what we're doing. And the next project's going to be a big one. Oh, hey Nova. Wrapped up in a reasonable time today. Just seeing if there's anything good to recommend. Well, it might be a little bit different, but I see Magenta on doing his, he's doing like a C++ UI library. It says he's doing geometry stuff right now, so that might end up being a little bit. I guess Elm UI takes care of most of the geometry stuff for me, but some UI stuff still. If you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye, and until next time.